Okay, so the thickness of the crust, at least 5 to 90 kilometers thick, and the state of matter of the crust. Solid. It's solid. All right, then if we look at the mantle, what is the mantle mostly made of? Silica. Thickness?
92,890 kilometers.
Good. So it starts 90 kilometers below the surface, or sometimes shallower if you're in an area where the crust is very thin. But we'll go with this number here. To what did you say? 2,000?
2,890.
Okay. So it's about 2,800 kilometers thick. The mantle is very thick, about 2,800 kilometers thick. And what is the state of matter of most of the mantle?
Solid.
Mostly it's solid. What's the exception? Plastic rock in the asthenosphere has the properties of a very thick, viscous liquid sometimes. So, mostly solid for the mantle. And the outer core, what is the main composition of the outer core?
What's the temperature of the mantle?
Temperature of the mantle, I don't have, I do have it. 500 to 4,000 Celsius. And if you want to make a note of that somewhere, 500 to 4,000 degrees Celsius for the mantle. Do you think that when you're closer to the surface, it would be hotter or cooler in the mantle? Cooler. It probably has a increasing temperature as you get toward the center there. How about the outer core? What is the composition of the outer core?
Iron.
Iron, and there's a little bit of, anyone know the thing I'm allergic to?
Gas?
No.
Grass.
No, I'm glad.
Nickel.
Nickel. Anyone who has trouble with earrings or rings turning their finger green? Yes, if you wear cheap earrings, they're made with nickel alloys, and I'm just really allergic. Yeah, and mine just get painful when I wear nickel earrings. So the outer core is mostly iron and nickel. Anyone know the thickness of the outer core offhand?
2,890 to 5,000.
Good. So from 2,890 kilometers below the surface to 5,160. Right, so it's pretty thick. State of matter?
Liquid.
Yeah, I confused everybody, so let's make sure we get straight. My question and yours are different on the study guide, but the outer core is liquid. It's melted metal, melted iron, melted nickel, both are metals. And it's 4,000 to 5,100 degrees Celsius. So that's very, very, very hot.
They have 7.
Oh, 57. I can't read my handwriting. 57. All right. So 4,000 to 5,700 degrees Celsius for the outer core. Extremely hot. Your oven can get up to maybe 500 Celsius at the hottest. So when we're talking about 10 times that or more, that's really, really hot. No, not even Celsius. It's 500 Fahrenheit for your oven. So 5,000 Celsius, extraordinarily hot. The inner core, what's it mostly made of?
Iron?
Mostly iron. It's about 20% nickel also. The thickness, how thick is the earth if you go right to the center of the inner core? Does anyone know? How do you guys know all this stuff?
It's written on the sheet.
So it's written
It's
on
written on the sheet.
Oh, mine's handwritten in. Why am I going over this?
I was getting out
Well,
of
some of them are.
Well, mine isn't written like that. I must have typed it in later. I had to handwrite all
Not
this.
all of them are filled.
All right. So this state of matter here is solid, which you probably have written in. I couldn't imagine how you guys knew this. It took me forever to figure out all that information. I couldn't possibly think how you'd already looked it all up in the book and Googled and stuff. I was so impressed. My goodness. All right.
You spend way too much time doing science.
I was so proud, but I'm still thrilled. So, good job, guys. So apparently this was much less labor intensive than I thought for you. And so those are the layers of the earth. What you really want to focus on is just knowing the order, knowing the general composition and state of matter. You don't have to memorize the thicknesses. And also just knowing where the discontinuities are. Remember that they were discovered because seismic waves move faster or slower in different compositions. So between the crust and the mantle, you have which discontinuity? The Moho Robichik, which no one will have to say, but the Moho is between the crust and the mantle. How about between the mantle and outer core? Gutenberg, and then outer and inner core, the Lehman. And they're essentially made of the same two things, but one's solid and one's liquid, so we can sense the difference. So the best kind of representation, I'll point it at you guys, the best representation of plastic rock that we can come up with is mixing cornstarch and water. It's a very strange mixture because you find that it behaves sometimes like a solid, but or sometimes like a liquid, but under pressure like a solid. Making a mess already. All right. So I'm going to make it, I'll pass each person a little ball of it if I manage to make it properly. You guys can scoop up your papers. It'll take me a little while to mix. You can just throw away your scrap papers and stuff.
Can you put it back in without getting it wet? No, I can't. I have another pair in my bag. Oh, yeah. Contact lens. No, don't put it back in. You have to get it wet inside your fingers.
Yeah, and it'll be so dirty it'll make your eye hurt terribly.
You can get infected.
Why are you touching it? And you think that won't happen, but it really does.
Really, it really did because my brother-in-law, something's wrong with his eye. Like, he was getting all psyched and he's like, out of the blue. And they were like, oh, something's wrong with your eye. You need to start seeing it. It's amazing how amazing our eyes are. I take it for granted. How we do it. I have to look around and go, wow, without our sight, life would be like about you.
And
Hearing skills. I don't know how to stop. I live in Atlanta, White Stew, and walking around and they didn't have a dog or anything. And I was
you're smelling drums?
That's exactly what it is.
yeah, but like, it seems like a silent road, but like the church was really quiet. It was hard to any cars at the same time. Green. So you start walking. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Real slow.
So this actually will become like
Really watch
liquidy.
which one should I take
It's
out?
cornstarch.
You can see how it's liquidy there, but if I press on it, it becomes really solid.
Yeah, and then you can look at it again. I can't take one out. Yeah, that's really cool.
It's Jenga.
Why don't you just no, it's easy to do it.
All right.
It'll do too much, it won't work.
No. You're killing it. No. Oh, you've done it now. Murderer. Murderer.
That won't help. It won't vibrate.
I'm going to go mix for Patrick.
Hey, make your
Chris, can you film?
We can clear that back.
Chris.
You built a log cabin.
What are we doing?
What do I get to do?
You can aim the camera so that Patrick can see some of this. So, Patrick, we are, I think it is it?
Yes.
We're making some cornstarch in water, which simulates plastic rocks. You can see it behaves something like a solid, but something like a liquid also. I haven't yet. It needs more water. And I'll always put too much in the end because I get impatient and then I make a mess. Of course. Once we have it mixed up, we'll pass it around. Thanks.
I love corn too. Is it cornstarch or corn syrup?
This is cornstarch.
Oh,
Tastes bad. Corn syrup tastes good, bad for
But I
you.
love playing with it.
And then I took a class and they were like,
So
"You're
much
fine,
fun.
you're supposed to have it." But I already paid for it, so I was like,
one time we made this in a group science thing at our
Which one? Always works.
You have to
guaranteed.
let it sit.
Well, when it sits, see how it's very
Yeah.
liquidy. Then you put pressure, and it's very solid, liquid.
That is so
solid,
cool.
so weird.
Liquid, solid, liquid. You can make it into a ball,
As long as you
and
keep touching it.
right, it forms a lovely ball. Then it just goes right off into a liquid. All right, so we'll
Should I
pass
get
it
paper
around.
towels for everyone to have
Yes,
underneath?
of course. We should already. Okay, so you can turn that off because he already saw it. You can do that at home too, Patrick, if you don't want to miss the fun.
How do I turn it off?
Push the on-off button. It'll be fine. Like that.